And so this is fun. Like I feel like we're just two gal pals having
I
feel
feel like maybe in another life, you know?
Honestly,
Or
I
like,
feel like that
were
too.
we burned
Okay.
at the stake together? I feel that deeply.
Most likely. Most likely. Okay, so let's start with some fun this or that. And it's all in line with what we're talking about today, which is really like the power that you have in your voice, and how much that could contributes to you growing in both like your business, but also yourself. So, first question though, is trust your gut or trust the data?
Oh, your gut.
Yeah, hands down. Like hands down.
I don't
I'm
even
so with you.
I'm not a numbers girl. I just do girl math.
Girl math. Listen, my thing is this: go with your gut and then make sure that it's right. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Yes.
like make sure that the strategy actually works out, but go with your gut. Okay. Build the brand around your personality or build the personality around the brand.
Oh, build the brand around your personality. Your brand is your personality. Like they're one and the same. Your brand is like your soul, your North Star. Like, yeah. No, if you're finding yourself having to contort and change who you are to fit some business or persona you've built, like, oh, not, not good. Mm-mm.
Okay, we're gonna get into that more. Um, talk to your therapist about it or talk to your business coach about it.
Oh, I think at this point in my life, it's business coach, or I'm going to add a third, a spiritual guide.
Mm, okay. Post it at 6 a.m. for the algo or post it whenever you feel like it.
Whenever my children aren't on top of me, it doesn't
Whenever
matter. It,
actually, whenever I can is the actual answer here. Okay. Send the, let's call it, thought-provoking post or sit on it for a day first.
Probably sit on it for a day first. I'm pretty discerning, and I'm very intentional. And I
Mm.
try not to be too reactive. I'm working on being more responsive.
Okay, so you said you're working on being more responsive. So what were you doing before?
It's not so much what I was doing before, but I'm a very emotional person. It's actually helped me build my business, the brands I've built, the women I've supported. It's like my greatest asset. But sometimes when you're so emotionally led and intuitively led, you want to do the thing right away, right? Say the thing. I like have to externally process. I have to have a conversation. I have to be in a shared reality with the person I'm with. And sometimes you just need to take a beat.
So I wanna lean into that for just a little minute. I'm going off script because I find this really true specifically and especially for women who are leaders. Um, I think sometimes we get what's the word I'm looking for? We get told not to be so like emotional or you have to have more of like a masculine energy or whatever. But you're not saying that at all. You're just saying allow for that emotion to live and breathe before you take action.
And emotion is data. Like if we want to actually marry the two worlds, like every experience you have, signal you get, feeling in your body, emotion you experience in response to someone or a situation, that is all actually data that informs, are my values in alignment? Like, is this person in a shared reality with me? So we need to give emotions more credit where they're due. And I think that women, if anything, have have a better handle on how they respond given their data of emotions.
So, how did you come to this realization?
You
Or were
know,
you
that's a
just
good
born this
question.
way?
No. I am like diagnosed as a HSP, a highly sensitive person, which I
Okay.
actually think is for purposes of the women I support and anyone who might be watching this is important to define. So it doesn't actually mean that I get my feelings hurt easily, which is kind of like maybe the cultural assumption of that term. It means that I'm highly sensitive to other people's experiences and feelings,
Mm.
almost to the detriment of myself. Like that's what I've been working on. I actually went to the Hoffman process in March, which is something I'd be happy to speak to. I think a lot of women could benefit from attending that. But essentially, being a highly sensitive person means that you're more in tune to others' feelings, experiences, energies. And so I'm really good at then attuning to other people and understanding if they're in a good headspace. How do I accommodate them? How do I appease them? What questions can I ask to make them feel more comfortable? So it has both helped me and hurt me in my life. And so, to answer your question around how I've sort of evolved my own experience with being emotional, is just I've been on my own for about 3.5 years outside of corporate tech. And I had a lot of experiences within corporate tech where I was made to feel that I was either too much, or that when I was acting with integrity or asking provocative questions, that I was causing trouble, even though I just was like, don't we all want to win? And so I worked on, I mean, I was in therapy for 12 years. Like I said, I went to Hoffman process. I think it's just been a coming home to myself and learning to trust that these are gifts actually, and the right people will see them as such, whether it's in business, whether it's in friendship, whether it's in something in between. And so I just think that not only does brand need a rebrand, which we should talk about, but being sensitive and emotional and expressive needs a rebrand.
So let's lean in a little bit, and I think let's save a few minutes at the end for you to share about the Hoffman experience, because I find that extremely fascinating on a personal note. So let's talk about the brand needs a rebrand, and maybe building upon that this or that question where you said your personality is the brand. So talk to me a little bit more about that. What does that mean? How does that manifest? Uh, Go.
You know what's fascinating is, even as we talk about this in real time, brand is evolving and changing. So I want to recognize that. And it's not that anyone has it wrong or that I have it right. It's just brand is deeply human. Brand is like the humanity of a business. And so I think brand is sometimes seen as a logo or colors, or I have a personal brand, so I need to post on LinkedIn. And I support women to develop their personal brand strategies as a part of brand therapy, which is my consultancy. And then I obviously am a brand leader for consumer brands as well. And so at this point in time, with the AI of it all, the general fatigue of content and brands and businesses getting in front of us and wanting our time and money and energy, the only thing that determines a decision is how you feel about something, if you trust it, if it feels credible. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, what we do, what you do, what I do is not special. It's about who we are and how we make people feel and the ultimate impact we want to have. And that goes for if you're a lip gloss, if you're a hair clip, if you are mouth lube. I have my mouth lube bottle here. It does not matter what you do, because your what should continue to change. Whether you're a business, whether you're a person, that will always evolve. It is about the ultimate purpose you have. You're on your deathbed and you're looking back and you're like, I made people feel this way. I feel great. I'm ready to go. And then the values by which you operate. And so that is what I do for both brands and individuals, is understanding truly what is your positioning of what sets you apart, what is your personality, your soul, the very human element that honestly AI cannot replicate. Because brand is based on human experiences. Brand is based on insecurities and connection and insights and truths. And that is something that only AI can only regurgitate if it's fed that in the first place. And so I am obviously obsessed with brand. And I just think it is not talked about quite as like spiritually as it should be.
So I want to connect the dots a little bit and ask a question that isn't fully formed in my mouth. So just give me give me, maybe I need some mouth lube. Okay. so so we, at Cherry Genius, like for us, it's people first media. And we always say, you can copy people's messages, you can copy the product, yada yada, but you can't copy people. People are like the last moat. They're the differentiator. That's why people buy what they buy. But when we think about brand, I think too often we don't think about the people. We do think about the logo, the tagline, what color is the website, what are we wearing to the event, maybe. So how do you get people to shape the way they think about brand differently if they don't already
It's not
believe? what you believe.
It's
Sorry.
not an it's not an overnight thing, right?
Okay.
And it's also the women I work with. So I primarily work with female founders who are either looking to build a personal brand that complements the business they're building, or they are their business, right? They're a service provider, et cetera. And so what I do is sort of help them reconnect with themselves, their
Mm,
purpose of why they want to do this. And then we obviously codify that, we articulate that. And then oftentimes we take that to a brand designer, right? So we say your brand is joyful, it's curious, it's approachable, it's also credible and elevated. Here are some color palettes that feel really inspiring and really, really personally connected. And then I brief a creative on the soul of the brand. And if they're a strong creative, and I have a couple really great ones if anyone needs great designers, then they get it and they see it and they create from that place. Versus if you don't do the deeper sort of digging initially to understand, why do I even want to be visible? Why do I even want to
mhm.
build a brand? Like, what is the deeper thing that feels like it's calling to me that is leading me to create in some capacity? If you don't like get curious about that initially and sort of take the time to go there, because it is very productive. If we as women, we got to be productive. I promise it's productive.
Lucrative.
Then you save time across everything. Because honestly, I have clients, I'm like, do not go pay a designer $12,000 to do a brand identity when you haven't done this initial exploration first. Because then it also determines where you want to show up. Maybe it's only LinkedIn and not Instagram. Maybe you're going on Substack. Maybe, like, let's have intention around how we ultimately activate. So then that's the connection to marketing, right? And brand and marketing are obviously different, but they're very integrated. So then when we go to activate, we have our business goals in front of us, we have our brand strategy established, and we think about what channels make sense and what cadence feels sustainable and all of that stuff.
So leaning into kind of doing the hard work of getting really clear on who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, how you want to make people feel, that kind of thing. To then going into that word activate. I love how you said a lot of times when we plan to activate, it requires us to use our voice to speak. Now, what that how that voice gets translated into written text or video or whatever, that's a piece of obviously that puzzle. But what do you say to your clients or to people just listening that believe everything that you're saying? They know they need to show up, but they don't want to. Something's holding them back. How do you empower them to use their voice to grow their brand?
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked this, because once you are clear on your why, not to be cheesy, but I'll get into that. Once you are clear on the purpose of like why you have to go out and create and be visible, but you're fucking scared to be, it is actually selfish to not go give your gifts to the world. Like, you are
Mm.
actively harming the people who could benefit from you witnessing them, you validating their experience, you bringing them value, you educating them, you seeing them. We are meant to connect as human beings, and the digital ecosystem of everything is extremely overwhelming and can be toxic, but it also, with the right intentions and integrity, can bring you to the people who need you, can witness you, build community around. And then ultimately, money becomes easeful because you're just acting in alignment with who you are. So that's sort of what I say to my clients who are like, gosh, I can't set up the tripod. I work with some of the most high profile women, and they're just like, can you come and set up my tripod? And I'm just like, you just got to make a video.
You just have to do it. Well, and honestly, it's so funny. Sometimes I make fun of myself or my team makes fun of me because I run a production company and 9 times out of 10 I am sitting at my desk with my iPhone just talking into it and no one gets to edit it and I'm like, "I don't care." Okay. Like I don't good or bad, it is what it is. But you said something that I hope people highlight, underline, clip, I don't know. But you said actively harming by not using your voice. That and you do not mince words. So I wanna, like, unpack that again because I'm like, when you say actively harming, I had a visceral reaction. Like, I was like, what have I done? Like, what am I not doing?" So, can you, like, unpack that a little bit for the people who are like, "Oh, shoot."
Completely. And I want to be intentional with the language I use. I think it might be helpful if I speak to my personal why and give some
Yeah.
examples from myself.
Yes.
So I had to have this work done for me because it's very hard to do it for yourself. It's very hard to do any degree of brand, personal develop work in a vacuum. And so I had this done for me just like I do it for women. But ultimately, I use the Simon Sinek Golden Circle model. I'm obsessed with it. I'm like going to draw it as I talk to you in real time. But your why is at your center, then it's your how, then it's your what, right? And he has a famous TED talk from 2010 that talks about Apple as a brand and Apple's why versus Apple's what. If Apple talked about their what, they would just talk about selling computers and nobody cares. But their why is to think differently. And at the time, their audience was that weird creative who was looking for a tech brand to identify with. So your why is at the center, then your how, and then your what. And my why is to connect with others and help them reconnect with themselves so every person feels seen, worthy, and loved. It doesn't have anything to do with brand or marketing, despite that being my bread and butter what for 16 years. So my how is my values. So my how is through curiosity and connection and not taking ourselves too seriously and joy and expression, those and accountability is huge, and integrity, and that is how I operate. And then my what happens to be a brand therapist, a founder of an oral beauty brand. I think in my 60s I'm going to be a Reiki healer.
Let's go.
I think my what will continue to evolve as it should. So knowing my why becomes, if I come back to it, if I'm having a rough week or I'm overwhelmed, and I don't post consistently, like I'm not walking that walk every day, just for the record. But when I think about visibility and I think about who I'm for and connection, I think about I want to connect with other people so they can trust themselves and know that they're worthy. That's all I care about. So if I can do one thing today, or I'm trying to prioritize my day, what is going to help me deliver on that? And
Mm.
not every day looks the same and it's a little bit woo woo, but I don't care. That clarity has been my sharpest business tool over the last 3.5 years.
I think, I read that book. I watched the TikTok or the TED Talk. It was not TikTok then. The TED Talk did all the things, but for some reason, how you just described it right there clicked so much differently. And I don't know if it's like an age thing and it's experience thing or what, but the two things that stood out to me is the how are the values. Like that was like I was like, oh duh. Like duh duh duh. Because when there's ever any friction in the company that I lead, you have those like founder moments where you just go curl up in the corner and you're like, what am I doing? Most of the time, it's because I'm feeling at odds with my values and what we're doing. And so that's an interesting observation. And then the other piece that I think is so freeing for so many founder women or even just women with big dreams and ambition and are on this platform and looking to grow and all that kind of stuff is your what can change. I think there's so much power in that because I think where I see a lot of people stumble is let's say they've gotten really clear on the how and the why and maybe the what to some degree, but they then go, what do I post? And so they get stuck in the mechanism of the doing, and they also get worried about what other people are going to think about what they say because what if they change? What if something evolves down the line that is no longer in line with what they're talking about today? So thinking about that out loud, what do you say to your clients who might have some of those fears?
Completely. I mean, if anything, we're living in a time where more women are having portfolio careers. More women are becoming mothers and then pivoting or seeing more opportunities because they have life experience and have realized they've been performing their whole life. I think that now is like, safe is an interesting word, but now is like a safer time than ever to sort of own who you are and own how multi hyphenated we are. I don't think we are in as much of a box as we used to be. And I think that the more we can have conversations like this and witness one another and bring women together who are super curious and want to do a variety of different things, then we can just create a flywheel in that way. I think that You just have to start. Who cares if you change your mind in 3 years or you learn something or you have another opportunity? Like, that is literally just life. Like, please live fully, please. A lot of the women I support are founders, angel investors, consultants themselves. Like, we deserve to be multifaceted in our creativity because we're like inherently creators and connectors. So, I would say if someone specifically is like, okay, I know my why, I know my values, but like, what do I post? It's like, it's not
Just
also
like
just about posting, like posting is like one expression of,
mm.
and it happens to be somewhat, I guess, the most relevant for visibility at this stage, but it sort of depends on your industry. It depends on your expertise, your experience. So much depends on your audience. So, another thing, so we have our golden circle, right? Over here, we should create an audience persona. And I don't mean like in a boring business way. I mean, who is reading that thing you're writing? Who is hearing you? Who are you meeting with in person? What is she going through? What are her limiting beliefs? Like, what gets her out of bed every day? Like, what is holding her back? How is she spending her money? How is she spending her time? Like, really get visceral in articulating who you are for. And also, if you're for everyone, you're for no one. That's like business 101. So, like, along your brand strategy being, why driven, think about the who that you are meeting on the other side and why you are for them.
So, let's talk about like the power because you've said a lot of really interesting things. You said we're potentially, I'm saying potentially in quotes just because I want to use your language appropriately, but actively harming when we're not using our gifts, when we're not out in the world creating, co-creating, doing what we were made to do. And the other piece of this is this is the safest opportunity to start doing the thing. Talk to me about what impact comes from you doing the thing, like for your business, for yourself. What is the intended consequence of doing the thing?
And when you say consequence, that could be a positive,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think, well, impact is highly personal. So, like, to me, purpose and impact are pretty interchangeable. So, for me, if I can connect with others and help them reconnect with themselves, that is having impact. If I can connect with women and help them trust themselves, that is having impact. And so, to answer your question, to go back to the note about like actively harming. My
Mhm.
intent is not to be dramatic, but I am
No.
very intentional and spiritual in the sense that like I think we are here, there's no coincidences. And if we are feeling called to express or create or connect, that is no coincidence. And if you are finding yourself fearful and holding back, that is a part of that process that I'm living every day too. Like, I'm not going to pretend I'm not. I think I want to get on film myself. No, like, just for the record. But it's like my intention is I want other women to see what's possible. I want other women to know that what they're feeling is very real. I want other women to know that they have permission to take up space and to share their ideas and to see if it resonates. And so it's more of if you have a gift that you feel called to share, people are not going to benefit from that if you don't push through your fear. And that is some of the biggest personal growth you can do. I mean, we could probably talk about all day how building your own business is more personal growth than anything.
Like business is the epicenter of personal growth if you let it be.
And it's
Like
lonely too. I think like addressing like the loneliness, we're all sort of in this vacuum of like having ambitions and dreams and ideas. And it is hard to motivate yourself sometimes when it's just you, right? And so I think that that's also why these conversations are so essential is how can we it's also not that serious. Like, just have a good
yeah.
time. Have a good time and trust. Here's the thing that I've found to resonate with a lot of my clients. We'll do a brand strategy. We know your why. We know your values. We'll make a content calendar. Yes. At the end of the day, trust yourself that everything you say and do is laddering up to here, and you are in your integrity, and enjoy yourself.
Mhm. That's one of the things that, we've worked with, I mean, honestly, at this point, like, hundreds of companies, hundreds of brands, hundreds of clients, and obviously they're not all still active clients. But one of the things that we've said to some of our clients before is, "Do you want to do this? Like, do you want to do this?" Because it's like, this should actually be fun. And the minute it's not fun is the minute I'm going, stop doing this. Because your audience can tell, we can tell, the content's not fun anymore for anybody. Like, there's a lot of that where I do feel like we seek permission. And I want to kind of lean into that a little bit because everything that you're saying, if I'm thinking about this as myself as like a founder, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. But if I put on my I'm running brand for a company hat or I'm running marketing for a company hat, I'm going, well, I agree with everything she's saying, but what if I need to get buy-in, to get permission to actually create content on behalf of on behalf of the company, or get my founder to start creating content like this in an authentic way or whatever. Like, do you have any kind of back pocket things that you give those people to help them empower themselves to get the permission that they need to do the thing that they should be doing anyway?
Completely. And I think that sometimes some of my responses might be coming more from a personal brand world because I've been operating in that world
Sure.
for a bit from a day to day standpoint. But I am a brand human who has been in corporate. I led creator marketing at Pinterest for 5 years, like, very much know the corporate world and the need for buy in. It's funny because one of my clients has a team. She's a founder of a big brand. She has a team, and I work with her team very frequently to coach her and push her, and they're always coming to me with new ideas, and like it's a great working relationship. I love it. And so, to answer your question, it's sort of, I get to be this, I mean, I get to come from more of an external place and say, like, if you don't do this, you will fall behind. Because at the end of the day, and it's so case by case, Rachel, depending on the business, the industry, like, sometimes it doesn't make sense for a founder to be forward facing. But I
Yeah.
will say, no matter what, brand matters. Even if the founder is not always the face, we've seen businesses be plenty successful without that. You have to feel something. It is becoming, consumers are more discerning than ever. The way they spend their money is like voting with their dollar. They want to feel like they're a part of something. So asking yourself this question, okay, these are the products we sell, like, okay, we're making social content, but I don't know the business objectives, like everything is so
Yeah.
case by case, but it's like, what is the deeper heartbeat? What sort of feeling, community, movement, like, what are the cultural insights that you want to be a part of? What is your unique perspective that no other brand in your space has? Where are you willing to take some risks to, like, say some things that'll just at least spark a conversation? We've seen some pretty high profile acquisitions recently, like Groons took a new form factor and started storytelling around, like, lifestyle. And regardless of efficacy, I think it's case by case, it made you feel like you're being healthy because you have your pack of Groons and you're on the go. And so I think that there is so many, it depends again on the industry, on the product, on the form factor of that product, on the consumer behavior we're seeing. But everything is emotional.
Mhm.
Everything is emotional, and every decision anyone makes is emotional.
Well, and I think it's getting more emotional. And I think like the more that we have robots as part of our, I don't know, mechanism, the more that we're looking for the human spirit in things. And going back to what we talked about at the beginning, it's like we want to feel something so that we do something. And I think that that to me feels like the crux of really everything that we're talking about. It's like whether it's your personal brand that you need to say yes to and like actively get involved, actively go out into the world and create, or get your team to rally around brand content, but brand content from people because people are the thing that we're all looking to connect with. Like that to me makes like follows everything that you're saying. And I think that idea of falling behind is true. It's also we like what kind of idea of feeling something, do something that is very fear based as well. And so I love your approach though, where you're just like, you're here to serve, you're here to use your gifts, and you can use that same language whether you're talking to a brand, because a brand is backed is created by a company, and a company solves a human problem. Otherwise, why does it exist? And so it's like, if you can just think about it like that, I think that there's opportunity there for your content to inherently become more people, more human. I'm not saying that eloquently, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, completely. And I think AI can be a tool, but you have to be the base insight, truth, experience. It's funny, we started a Substack for Mouth Lube, and I just wrote an article this week about how if you think AI came up with Mouth Lube, you are missing the entire point of brand. And so I encourage folks to go read it because it was very cathartic for me to write. But it is important to acknowledge that, like, say you have an idea, and our best ideas come when we're not sitting at the
And
computer.
yeah.
They're going to come in the shower, when we're playing with our children, when we're outside. Allow yourself to put pen to paper or leave a voice note and articulate that idea for yourself first. And then think about how AI can be a co creating partner to either ask you additional questions. I love using Claude to not only mirror back to me, but ask me 5 to 10 additional questions to extract more detail, etc. And then always write it yourself. That is the other thing why we're seeing like platforms like Substack have such a moment is I think people are so tired of the AI slop. Like there's more content than ever. And if you are putting content out just to put content out, again, reconnect with your intention because humans are just like in the purchases that they're making, the content they're consuming. If there is like an element that signals it was written by AI, you lose them.
Mhm. Well, and I think honestly, one of the questions that I love the question that you ask of like, how do you want people to feel for your brand? We ask that same question. We work with our clients on the content because if we don't know the answer to that question, then everything we create is worthless. It has to make you feel something. And I keep thinking about all the signals that we're seeing at the macro level. Disney doing a deal with TikTok. Like, why are they doing that? Oh, it's because people are the power. Like all of the things that we're seeing are pointing to this. And so I think if you had to leave, let's say the people listening or watching today with one thing to empower them to use their voice for greater impact, what would you tell them?
One thing to use their voice for greater impact. Take the time to get to know and trust yourself through whatever tools feel good to you because we're just such doers, but we're actually human beings. So just be for a beat and get curious with yourself and then let that become a filter through which you then express. And I think everyone's expression can be different. It doesn't always have to be social media. And I think that's where the deeper work is really important is understanding where you want to show up and why, and then who's on the other end of that, and then allowing that to evolve too.
I think that I love what you said about it doesn't have to always be social media because not everything is for the world to see. And even that, like taking through the lens of, let's say, a founder leading a company or a CEO of a company, a woman CEO, your people are also an audience for you. So, what are the stories and things like that that you can be sharing with them that helps them in their life? Because that is an audience that you're serving as well. So, actively harming them by you not sharing is also a piece of this. And I think sometimes we overthink a lot of that when in fact we do just need to talk and share. So, I
And
love that.
and just be a human. Like I
Yeah.
have found that to be the thing that connects me the most with even some of the most powerful women I get to support is like just be a goofy girl. Just leave a
Yeah.
voice note.
Just do
Like
it.
just trust that you are smart. And if your email is not perfectly formatted, like, well, my emails will be perfectly formatted, but like share the messy idea
Yeah.
because connection and humanity is what matters, and trust that like you were credible and smart no matter what. And I think that same thing applies to visibility in whatever medium or channel you choose. Like it, I think that people want expression and connection and to be witnessed in their own vulnerability.
Well, and Ash, I know I'm trying to wrap us up, but I can't because there's so many things that you're saying. Like one of the things that you said at the beginning, I think is really pertinent here too, because I asked you that silly this or that around send it or wait. And I think there's a lot of power in the send it or wait and determining that you should wait, but not overthinking it. And you know what I mean? Because I've had even coaching some people on my team sometimes where I'm like, you're over architecturing like the conversation you're going to have. You're overthinking what they're going to say. When reality, you should just call them and just say it because these are people too. And I don't know why we do that, but I think it goes back to also another through line of this is like performing versus owning. And it's like if you're owning your why, if you're owning your values, if you're owning kind of what you're doing and all of that kind of thing, you don't need to perform for anybody. It's just showing up, having the conversations and continue to move forward. Like so I think there's a lot of nuggets here for people to hang their hat on, but ultimately I hope people understand on the call to use your voice in whatever capacity that means for you and whatever way is most authentic. And I know that's a buzzword right now, but authenticity is still a word that doesn't need to be over jargoned. Can we just say that as well?
And just like raw and real. And I think this concept of like using your voice and expression also serves you. You don't
Mm,
suppress, like there's so much, the throat chakra, whatever you want to get into, but it could harm us if we don't speak our gifts and share and connect. And I think that the one thing, if it's okay to speak to, because I think it applies the brand piece really beautifully, hopefully, and can land the plane, is the reason people are like, well, why did this girl start an oral care brand? Is and it's to give my co-founder Allie credit. This has been her idea for 16 years. She called me a year and a half ago and she said, oral care is so boring. I've had this idea for mouth lube since I woke up with a dry mouth at Coachella. Like, can we make something incredible for oral care? And then I started to realize the mouth is literally the center of expression and connection and consumption and the portal to our beings. And yet, no brand is
mm,
talking about the human experience of the mouth. No brand, old oral, as we like to call them, no one is saying, oh yeah, are you insecure about your mouth? Do you think about your mouth but not think about how your mouth feels? Are you it's the billboard of our face, yet it's not talked about. And I share this for brand folks listening, founders listening. The insights that we identify could be living in plain sight.
mm.
And so for me, I'm not making an oral beauty brand because there's a gap in the market. I mean, there is. I'm doing it because I want people to connect with each other, come home to one another, feel confident, feel good, eat the thing, make out, have the garlic bagel, whatever, and sing, scream, share their feelings, share their idea, whatever it is. And the reality is that as humans, like after you have coffee, after you, like your mouth is just, it's always with you. And no brand is owning the storytelling behind it. And so that example to me is a really great example for a non, like it doesn't have to be founder forward. Like this is just
Mhm.
a brand story on its own that is grounded in human experience and insights. And like I say, the whole that talks that no one talks about. And so that is why I would make a mouthwash, is because I'm very sensitive.
But you illustrated the whole circle perfectly because you went back to what is the purpose of brand? It's not to tout a logo or a color or whatever. The purpose of brand is to anchor back on solving a human problem for a human being. And sometimes the answer is right there in front of you. And I think that too often we overthink it, we over-engineer it, and we just don't do it. And so through the work that you do with your clients and now what you're doing with for our mouths, literally, there are no reasons not to use it. You to use your to use it,
Use your
you know, use your mouth. Um, and I know we're at time, so I wanna kind of wrap up here. But because I teased it out at the beginning, go ahead and tell everyone, if you don't mind, a little bit about what you did with Hoffman. And before you tell us the what, I want to know why. So why you went, and kind of what that experience was.
Yes, definitely. So the Hoffman Institute, the Hoffman process is there's two locations, Northern California and Connecticut, I believe. It's been around since the 60s, founded by Bob Hoffman. And it's basically a personal growth retreat. It's 7 days with no phone, no computer, no books. Like it's really just time for you and a group of you and 39 other people with your teachers at the campus. And from about 7, 8 in the morning until about 10 at night, it's personal growth work. And it's a variety of different exercises, individual, together. I'm leading with the what I now realize. But the reason that I went is because I had been in cognitive behavioral therapy, traditional therapy, an hour a week. You know, we go, good girls, we go to our therapy, we show up, we keep that container for reactive, whatever. And I just felt that I was missing a variety of tools that I needed, and that those tools were actually inside of me, but I did not have the time or the space to get to know them, trust them, and use them. And so I have a spiritual big sister. Her name's Babs, of course. And she, a year ago, was like, it's time for you to go to Hoffman. And so it took about 9 months. It's about 9 months in advance. You can get off wait list. You can get on wait list though, and you can go sooner. But it was an incredible week for me. And it was just incredible time for me to reconnect with the person that I am at my core. There's this concept called negative love syndrome. And it's basically like, what are the behaviors, beliefs, traits that we basically take on to be loved, starting at when we're a baby? Like, I am not a people pleaser or a fawner. I was not born that way. Like, that was a thing that I developed in response to wanting belonging, right? So we reconnect with who we are at our core. We understand our parents deeply, which was such beautiful work that I really needed to do. And then ultimately, you end the week with learning how to activate that work out in the world, and they prepare you for that. The other beautiful thing about it is you can't talk about your work. So you never know what anyone does. And it is mind blowing how much you learn about yourself and other people when you can't lead with your career.
Love that. I That sounds amazing and terrifying. Like, the idea of I was like, "All right, no phones, okay, no computer, whatever." When you said no books, I was like, "Wait, wait, wait." Because it's like, I don't know if I could deal with the silence at night like that. Like, that would be hard. Like, you were just, like, alone with the voices in your head. Like, what?
Well, you have homework, you know, you're usually doing stuff before bed. And I had the same thought, but you're usually just pretty tired and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to bed. And I will say, being away, I have two young children, and being away from my children and not having access to know if they were all right was very hard for me. But each
Yeah.
day that passed, my capacity expanded for that discomfort. And
Hmm.
I share that because it's rare that we're put in situations that actively challenge us. And I would go to my teacher and I'd say, hey, you know, can you call my husband? Like, I just want to make sure no one's dead. And he's like, are you catastrophizing? Like, mirror back to
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
And yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a pattern of mine. And so I would say that if we can put ourselves in situations where we feel our resilience and capacity expanding, whether that is creating content, whether that's going to Hoffman, whether that's starting a business or having a hard conversation, that is growth and living your life so fully in motion. Like, oftentimes, the hardest choice, the hardest thing is the right thing. And that's so annoying.
I honestly, I wanna end it there, because that I you this has been a therapy session, this has been a brand secession, this has been empowering. Let's leave this live done.